Hey, what's up? Welcome to Find It Friday, July 10th, 2026. Hey, sorry about last time when we were doing Find It Friday. I think I was on mute for the first 15 minutes. And then someone kindly said in the comments, hey, I think your mic has been on mute this whole time, and with like a laughing face. And so, anyway, I did a recap at the end. I think we were looking at like Palm Springs or something like that in California. So, anyway, this time, hopefully, I am not on mute. If I am, send it in the comments so I know. But today, what we're going to be doing is looking up in the New York area, kind of that Catskills, Finger Lakes. My wife and I were looking at some deals the other day, and she's like, "Hey, let's go look around in this area and see what we can find." And so let's just dive straight in. And I will show you how I found this one interesting deal. There's actually a few others that I found there too, but this one is pretty sweet. Up in the New York area here, on a lake that shows some pretty strong potential, maybe up to a 19-20% cash on cash return, making 4 to 5 grand a month in net cash flow. And so let's break it down. Let's look about how I found it, how you can find other deals like this one. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset my filters here. I'm on Strike STRIQ, and I'll tell you how my wife and I did this the other day. So I'm going to clear my filters. And anyway, so what we were doing is, we coordinate all these properties so you can actually see them in a scoring metric of like red, yellow, green, where red is negative performing or, break even or negative. Green is high performing or close to like a 20% cash on cash. So my wife was like, "Hey, Matt, let's see if we can find a property that makes over like a 10% cash on cash return, over 100 grand in revenue, and let's start looking at some of these amenities and say, okay, well, let's have like a mountain view or a water view, lake view, some sort of view that's really nice." And so I said, okay, let's see what we can find. So we did that and clicked apply, and all these properties went away except for just a few. And so there's some here, right in the Finger Lakes of New York. So there's a couple of interesting ones here. Here's one south of Ithaca. This one I found the other day was pretty cool. It's a huge, like 15-bedroom one in Rockland, New York. So anyway, there's just some of these golden nuggets that are kind of sticking out here that look really interesting. An 8-bedroom that makes like maybe a 40% cash on cash return. I mean, just some of these are just being revealed to us. Well, one of those is right here in the Catskills, and I met a few people at Level Up Your Listing the other day that absolutely love the Catskills. And so again, I'm not super familiar with this area. I don't know the regulations or anything there. So as we find these in these areas, even if it shows a high cash flow potential, you still need to talk with local agents or experts to verify that you can actually STR this deal. So anyway, this is one that just, again, was instantly revealed through the filters that we had. And so look at this. I mean, this thing is pretty awesome. It's, reasonable price for many of our customers that are looking. It's a 3-bedroom, so it's a little smaller, but look at this. I mean, it's on a lake or a river here. I mean, just beautiful like water views. You just have just some like exceptional amenities and things that you can provide to your guests. And I mean, the property's in pretty good condition here. So, I'm looking at this thing and it's looking pretty interesting. So I think one of you guys should go talk to, an expert that there. If you don't know one, let us know. We've got good agents all over the place that know um, a lot about short-term rentals, kind of all over the country. And so, anyway, so what I do is I usually look through the about section of it. It's an older property, and so there's probably some deferred maintenance. I'm looking at like the garage and some things that I probably need to factor in some capital. But let's go analyze this deal. And so, it's a buyer's market in most places. And so typically you can get some sort of discount, at least 2 to 3% or more. I mean, heck, I've gotten like 10 to 20% discounts in some markets. So let's just say you buy this thing for $675, and there's a garage. You might even be able to convert that to a game room or something different. In this case, you could potentially bump it up to 4 bedrooms or even just leave it at 3. But there's additional amenity spaces that you can do to really increase that head count or increase the experience for those guests. So then let's go analyze revenue. So here we have like a base target upside for this property. And we do this for every single property across the entire country where we give you that kind of like that lower conservative. Then that target is really where I try to get for almost every single property. And obviously if you can get to upside, that's awesome. But I wouldn't really underwrite based on that unless you're just Michael Elefante or someone like that. Um, so I like to have that target upside. Then let's go look at the startup cost, and we'll come back to this because a lot of you are asking like, "Hey Matt, where the heck are you getting these numbers? Like, how do I trust that?" Well, there's something we could do to verify comps, where we've got this comps dashboard that literally just shows you all your comps and all the data that I'll go back to here in a second. So then here we've got startup costs. Well, we already have startup costs factored in for you. And you're probably asking, how the heck do you have startup costs already factored in? Well, thankfully with AI, AI goes in and looks at these pictures and then actually forecasts potential cost for furnishing, design, and renovations. And so it's come up with about 130, $140,000, which sounds pretty reasonable. Could even get up to like 200,000 potentially, but this is a good estimate for now, that we'll just leave. But you can go in there and go tweak it to something a little higher if you wanted to. But AI is already doing that for us across every single property that's available in the US that's for sale. Now, expenses, I like to manage stuff on my own. You may want to put in like a 10% management fee, but everything else is already pre-calculated for you. Now, I've noticed insurance probably needs to be juiced up because it's on water. And when it's a short-term rental versus a residential home, usually insurance goes higher. So what we'll probably do is increase this for every single property as if it's a short-term rental versus just like a normal house. So just be aware that insurance might be a little low, that you need to juice up for any property you look at. And then I like to usually add in, let's call it like, I don't know, $10,000 for like reserves or miscellaneous. So like I like to have cash reserved in the bank. Have an recent property, an AC went out, and so I needed to repair that. Sometimes roofs, you need roof repair, so you need to factor in some capital just in case. And so now that we've done that, I like to do like 10% down if I can as like a second home loan, and interest rates at 7%. So cool, that looks good. Boom. Let's see what this looks like. So this is showing a pretty strong investment signal, about a 17% cash on cash return, 3 to 4 grand a month in net cash flow. So interesting deal. So then again, you're probably thinking, all right, this looks interesting, but can I actually, STR this thing? And can I actually get that number in revenue? So let's approach those kind of separately. On the comps or the revenue, let's go dive into our comps dashboard. So we put in that address. We have a 3-bedroom to 3-bedroom situation here. We take out all the bad data. We have all the comps that are surrounding us, all these Airbnb comps here that we can see with the revenue potential of each of those that we're factoring in. And then what we can do is we can do these toggles that show like mid or base, target, upside. And so you can see if you get into these 112 to 147, let's go back to this. So like this is kind of probably on the upside. So we might want to juice that down just a little bit based on what the comps are showing. So this is a good way just to kind of go back and forth between. So let's just go juice that down just to like, call it like 130, somewhere in between here, kind of in between. Most people I talk to kind of land somewhere in between here, but just to be a little bit more conservative, let's maybe juice that down to like 130 and see what that looks like. Okay, so that's still like a 15% cash on cash return. So, when you do this, what's fun is at the very end, once you kind of go through all your comps and go verify through these here, you can have this pro forma at the very end. So then in your mind, you're like, well, okay, now I want to move forward with an agent to verify I can STR it. And either A, you do it with your own capital, or if you don't have your own capital, you could take this pro forma and send it to your friend, your family members, capital partners, whoever, with all the details. And this is how you can find these deals super fast and go raise capital and go strike more deals. So anyway, this is just an interesting one I found the other day with my wife. Uh, Again, it's for sale right now that you can go buy. You know, we validated this thing in like 2 minutes. That looks pretty interesting. But again, nobody knows things better than local experts, agents, designers, all those people. So we actually have an expert section here where we've got agents, lenders, designers, contractors, all those people, for anyone that you need nationally. So if you don't have someone local, drop a comment below or reach out to support@strike.com and we can get you hooked up with someone that can help you out. But that is my recommendation is if you find something like this, or even this one in particular, make sure you go talk to someone that is a local expert before you actually go put money into it. But anyway, this one is interesting. There's also a couple of others that popped up, like this one here and a few others. So um, we're able to find these kind of instantly all over the place. So that is how we found it. Again, I'll just show you real fast. We did 10% cash on cash return over 100 grand in revenue potential per year with views. And we applied those metrics. And that, my friends, is how we found this deal right here. So happy Friday. We're finished up here. If anyone's got any comments, drop them below. If not, we will do another market next Friday and let us know if there's another market you want to evaluate. All right, I think no comments right now, so we will go ahead and wrap this thing up. Y'all have a good weekend, and we'll see y'all next Friday.